Welcome once again to Late Law. Here's Steve Lato.
Frank and Cliff sent me a note. It's a tasty check out the story from Fox News. The Supreme Court has decided that the case in California was something they need to look at and talk about because a man was charged $23,000 by the county to build on his own land. And if you've ever had the opportunity to have something built and you have to deal with the local municipality with building inspectors and permits and so on,
get some rest yet?
Feel the pain. He twice lost in lower courts in his suit against El Dorado County. He wanted to build on his own property. And they said, "Oh, you can do that. There's just a fee, a $23,000 fee." So the Supreme Court unanimously ruled that fees that governments charge, even those imposed by a legislature, must be based on an actual adverse impact. So if it's an inspection fee, a couple $100 might make sense. But if it's going to, impact local traffic patterns, then it might be more than that. But they can't just yank numbers out of thin air. Permit fees, for example.
I figured that's what it was. That's what you meant.
Any damage the public might face from development. So building permits.
I'm just heading to go eat myself. I think I'm going to have a burger tonight too. Probably not nearly as good as yours.
Says the attorney who represented the
fucking bagel bun and everything, man. That was nice. I mean,
the court agreed to put a stop
bagel bun.
Attempt to skirt the Fifth Amendment's prohibition against taking private property without just compensation. What the man's getting at is that if you have a piece of property and they don't want you to build on it, they can just jack up the fee to where you can't pay it. Go, oh well, if you can't pay the fee, that's too bad. And if you can't do what you want with your own property, that's a form of taking. So in 2016, the man bought a
you have to too, especially with Chopper in your chat.
California, near Lake Tahoe. He planned to build a house for his
pretzel
retirement
that's what it was.
after working for 50 years in construction. The man thought it was time to take a break. He was told he'd have to pay traffic impact mitigation fees of over $20,000.
That's what I was trying to say. I just couldn't get it out.
A building permit. The county legislature created the fee a few years ago to help pay for
Japanese. There you go.
That's when I started getting pissed off, the man said. I said, this is ridiculous. So he paid the fee, but then
I was busy as fuck. There was no way I was going to be able to do a desktop stream.
Impact mitigation fee was needed to
pay any attention to it. So
it's similar to fees that fund parks and police departments. But of course,
it's dinner time.
One house on one road is going to cause that much impact to the road. So the man who just spoke a second ago, the attorney, agreed that governments should be allowed to use taxpayer money to fund services, but he argued that this traffic impact mitigation fee from the county was unconstitutional because the amount wasn't tied to any actual estimated damage. They just yanked the number out of. The lower courts sided with the county because this fee was actually described by the legislature and was approved. And so they said, well, if it's okay in Sacramento, it's okay here. And the Supreme Court rejected that argument and said, in sum, there's no basis for affording property rights less protection in the hands of legislators than administrators. They're saying, look, it doesn't matter. Remember, the Constitution protects you against government overreach. Government overreach could come from the executive branch or from the legislative branch. The Takings Clause applies equally to both, which means that it prohibits legislatures and agencies alike from imposing unconstitutional conditions on land use permits. The administrator for the county said the local government was pleased with the decision, noting that it answers only a narrow question on which the parties have already agreed. So they're claiming there was no controversy, but of course,
oh yeah, for sure.
The question is, does the man get his money back? It explicitly leaves open.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter about the protest.
The government's going to continue to impose reasonable permitting conditions.
Benny Johnson was talking about it earlier too.
Traditional land use authority, as the county has done here. The county looks forward to defending its program.
Get you some rest, bud.
Now you might say, but Steve, what further litigation? The Supreme Court just ruled. Well, the Supreme Court answered the question, but has sent the case back down to the lower court with instructions to follow their instructions. Okay.
Imagine if those were MAGA people doing it, how they would react to them.
There in the lower court. Case
I don't care. You can leave that shit up. I don't care.
To see whether the fee is subject to the unconstitutional conditions doctrine, which requires government fees to be proportionate to adverse impacts caused by development. If it is, then the court will consider whether the fee was proportional to the traffic impact caused by the man building his 1,800 square foot manufactured home. The guy's going to drop an 1,800 square foot manufactured home on the spot. It's apparently just a single family dwelling.
Yeah.
And the question is,
and not just that, block bridges, block roads. See what they do. Protest without a permit. You know.
A $23,000 fee, and so theoretically, a court could still rule on this. Go, yeah,
Block a sidewalk,
but not based on just the fact that the law says so, but based on the fact that the
see what happens.
Has proven a connection. And that was the big distinction here, and I know a lot of people are going to get lost on this, but it's important to understand. The Supreme Court is saying they can't just yank numbers out of thin air. The numbers have got to be based on something, tied to some kind of proportionality that we can measure. And so if someone's going to put a building here, what impact will it have on the local area? And the best example I can think of, although this is commercial, not people, but Chick-fil-A famously will come into town and put in a restaurant, and so much traffic will be showing up for their business that they wind up having to do things like put traffic cops out in front to direct traffic. And next thing you know, there's a line of cars out in the parking lot, out at the road, and down the block. That's a traffic impact, my friends. Somebody needs to take a look at that and go, okay, what can we do to make this better? By the way, who should pay for it? Most people say, well, if your business causes that kind of a problem, maybe you're...
So run them over? And you're not going to get fired?
In his house, I don't know if he's got a family or not, but let's face it, a husband, wife, kids, is going to create so much traffic on that road.
Fucking idiot, dude.
We've got another house here, what are we going to do? How are we going to handle all the traffic?
Well, I'm sure he was. He's still a fucking idiot.
And I've heard of different fees being charged in different counties. We spoke more about the places up in the Northwest. They said, oh, you want to build a house? You got to put money into a fund to help that. You know what I mean? I'm building a house, which technically speaking means I'm adding to the housing supply. So I should be helping the housing situation.
Nice to be working for yourself now, though, huh?
Yeah, but when I move into my new home, it frees up a home. I actually am helping the situation. I go, no. We want you to put money into a fund.
No, I get it. You know, you got truck drivers get dragged out of their cabs and beat halfway to death, or might as well be dead. I get that.
What's the connection? And so, unfortunately, there are people in government who get in a position where they go, well, if we had more money, here's how we would spend it.
Kinetic shot between the eyeballs.
How do we get more money?
Definitely get them off the step to your cab.
So it's a problem. The Supreme Court has said that they can't just yank numbers out.
I get it.
It's got to have some connection.
When you get your routes from.
The claim it's costing and the amount they're charging you. And so now it's going to go back to the trial court to determine whether or not there actually is an impact here of $23,000 by this one guy building his home on a piece of property that wasn't otherwise vacant. So I agree with the rule of the Supreme Court. It's just a matter now what happens at the trial court. For those of you following along at home, yes, the guy paid the money. Lost in court, wound up in the Supreme Court, won. It's being sent back down where he could lose again. You have to appeal it, take it right back up again. So that's why some of these cases just never end. So the Supreme Court decides a case in California may charge $23,000 by county to build on its own land. The case is going back down for a court to determine, based on new rules for Supreme Court, whether or not that all makes sense. Questions or comments, put them below, let's talk to you.
Thank you for watching Leto's Law. On the other hand, you have different fingers.
Yeah, I've got mine on my mirror, and it's got an arm that shakes like crazy. I actually have one on my dash too, and it doesn't vibrate much, but it doesn't go to the right angle. I've been seeing a new one lately that's you could do from like your sun visor. Think about trying that. I mean, I've got so much shit on my window right now. I'm waiting for a cop to tell me I can't have this attached to my mirror. I'm like, oh, but I can suction cup it to the window itself, huh? You know, because I got Got the dash cam, the inside cam, the Easy Pass, and then I got my other phone hooked on the dash there. And this one, it hangs. See, that's where I mount to. That's why I do get a decent view of the road. Oops. Just getting it in the clamp sometimes is difficult. But it's the thing is, I have to tighten it down so much to keep it from shaking that taking it out can be a pain in the butt, or moving it. All right, I'm back. It never disconnects there. It disconnected from the Wi-Fi.
Sheepdog on YouTube was raided about a week ago. SWAT team raided his house, took all his computers, took a bunch of stuff, and it's going to take a real video put together to tell the whole story and to really put it all together for you guys. But I'm out here with Pink Camera Magic and SA210 Cop Watch, who at least have some good amount of information on what happened here. When do you want to start with at the beginning? Here, and actually, can you come over here so we've got them in the background? So these people right here are the ones who, there was some type of property dispute, is that right?
These guys had some issues with the insurance company that's at the end of the wall because they decided that only their street is a private street, but they won't allow their easement for their neighbor to have their clients and customers come through, so they put a whole bunch of rocks in there.
Hey, Claiborne.
So there was a lot of back and forth between her and Jack.
Whoever else is lurking. Only got about 16 minutes left. I'm just cruising to go eat.
We all know Jack Miller, TXG 72. He's not going to break any laws. I mean, he's going to play everything by the book. Now, the thing is, with this land dispute, with Landis Road, we got the Colvins here at one end of the street. They're constantly feuding on who has the rights to the road, alleged private road. So far, we have established that it is a public easement that's accessible to the public, but anybody that goes on land is road, that's right below.
Everybody's eating burgers.
Right next. As of right now,
I think I'm gonna have a burger today too.
Anybody that's on the road and that's not wanted will get criminally trespassed. That's why TXG 72 was basically making comments on YouTube and Facebook. Give me your name, so I can criminally trespass you as well. So apparently,
and government officials were issuing criminal trespass on their own premises as well, without us being on the premises. So yeah, this tyrannical city is getting out of control. I believe I think she wants something. She wants everybody to know, and she wants to have an input as well on what's going on, because this is affecting not only her livelihood but her business. This is the reason why CashApp 72 got involved, because
Nice.
here is claiming that's a private road. She should have no access whatsoever to land this road, which is right off of Ackerman in the city of Kirby. But yeah, it's just total chaos on here. I mean, he's been paraded, he's been criminally trespassed on public officials that he's never planned on setting foot on their property. Yeah, it's crazy. I personally been trespassed as well, being on this road. I personally been trespassed to be on this road, so as you can see, once again, we're on private property. Make sure we get well documentation, because at the end, they might raid my house, like they did with Patrick Jackson.
All right, so do you guys want to walk up the road and so this, whose property is this?
I have a number, I think. I don't know.
This is going to be the
Coven's property?
property check.
And they're claiming to own this whole road, but there's multiple houses on the road, right? How many? Do you know?
So far, I assume 6 or 7.
And at the very end of the road, there's a business, and that's what. Okay, we want to go up there, and we'll kind of show everybody the area and what this is, where this kind of all started. Now, normally I wouldn't get into private property disputes and stuff like that. It's civil, and I do government accountability, but this ended up becoming a serious government accountability case. I personally just choose not to get into civil and private disputes. It's just my personal, what I choose to do on this channel. But this personal, private, civil dispute over land and over property became a serious government overreach issue, and that's why I chose to step in here. And so I feel like I wouldn't be doing.
No, I don't know.
story
Not telling.
justice if I just started at the point where I feel like government overreach happened. I feel like it only. I mean,
I thought he was
I
saying
feel
not
like
telling. I
I'm
didn't know
doing
that
you
was
guys
the name of the
all
person.
justice.
So
I'm
no,
not
I don't have that
sure
person's
the whole
number.
route of exactly why this all started, why it all happened. So this is the private road over here. We're walking in. Oh, you're good. You're good. Camera magic is. So we're on a church parking lot, and the church welcomes everybody. But we're right next to.
All right, when I
As
get
you can see,
stopped-
this private road has multiple houses on it. They claim it's private. I haven't done
might be able to do it on this
surveys
phone
or
here.
anything like that, which is why I said let's just play it safe and not go on the road at all. I don't live there. I do respect private property rights, but I mean, all these people that live on this road have to have access to their own houses and their own businesses. And so, while I won't go on the road because I don't live there and I haven't been invited by any of these residents, it really came down to a dispute of these people trying to make sure that other people couldn't get access to their property. So it's all houses until the last property on the road, right down here. And you'll see there's a bunch of, to me it looks like kind of road-based gravel.
All right, I got it. If it's the same number anyway.
Is that kind of what they use that type of material for out here? Uh-huh.
He physically, intentionally put it right in front of their gates, block them from using the side access.
Okay, so we'll go over here to show you kind of what was going on. So here's the end of the road. Here's one of the gates to this business. Now, for a while, there was construction on this road. And so
Oops.
they have a
I
gate
sent that into here.
off of the main road into the business.
You want to delete it? Actually, let me just delete it. Let's reset
Here,
it.
this is pretty petty, guys. This is pretty petty. once you see where this really started, which is why I kind of don't get into this stuff normally, you know.
They won't let me delete it.
So there's this gate right over here that comes off of the main road, and it's a Progressive Insurance Company right here. What is this?
I got you. I'm looking at the video you sent too. I see it.
Insurance place.
Okay. So they've got a gate off of the main road, but there was construction going on this road, right? And so customers couldn't access the business through the main gate over here. So while they were doing construction, they opened this gate over here and they had customers accessing the business from that gate. Is that correct? So Coven came over and decided that for whatever reason, he didn't want this business's customers to come, I don't know, what is it, 20, 30 feet up this private road to get into this business right here. He didn't want people coming through here. And so he came out with a skid steer and put all this rock in front of the entrance of their business to prevent customers from coming in. So Jack, TX Sheepdog, came out. No, I'm sorry, the owner of this place moved the rock. He went and rented his own skid steer or something, right?
To move the dirt out of the way just to make enough path to get people in and out.
So he reopened all he did is move stuff to make sure people could get in and out of his business. And then all he did is move it to the side. He didn't take it anywhere, right? And then the chief of police came and charged him with felony theft for allegedly stealing the rock. Is that right?
Yes.
And did they do a raid on him? How did they end up arresting him? So they came out and arrested him for felony theft for moving the rocks away from the front of the entrance of their own business. And that was where Jack got involved. Is that right? And I think Jack's kind of probably the same. You know, I'm not going to get involved until there's government overreach, and it looked like there was government overreach there. Now, it's alleged that the chief of police is also friends with the Covens, who arrested this man for moving the rock. Is that right? So Jack got involved at that point. Do you guys, where does it go from there?
So it was a battle back and forth throughout the weeks. They'll put the dirt back, they'll put rocks. Of course, Jack would come out here, move the rocks, remove them out of the way.
So Jack started coming out to move the rocks.
Yes. And then they started putting the rocks back, the dirt back. They started moving. Basically, it's been a back and forward feud. Moving the rocks, relocating the rocks. So Jack relocated all the dirt and rocks on the other side of the easement, as you can see around the church. So all that was blocking this right here. So Coleman, what he does best is, as a coward that he is, he brings out this storage box and puts it in front of their gate, blocks the entry. And of course, you can see it's intentional. He welded some pipes and stuff, so it'll be hard to move around.
So he's putting a lot of work into going way out of his way to just cause his neighbor harm.
Yes, that is correct. So one instance,
that's a lot of welding work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe not, Tim, but I mean, he's taking some real effort.
So, yeah,
one way or
It's like
another.
a petty king, like they're being really, really petty.
so long story short, as he's moving the rocks around, Colvin down the street comes in at a high rate of speed. It looked to appear that he was going to ram Jack's F-150, right? And he told him, "Hey man, you got to get away from my truck. You get near me, I'm going to pepper ball spray you."
Oh, one more thing that they did too is they actually took a van, and no, Jack put his van there to get him out of the rest of the building before he continued to until he put stuff in the way. And so he guys took all the rocks and surrounded the van
Surrounded the man.
with the rocks.
Yeah.
So they
So
blocked it.
Okay, it's a lot of work. Oh, this is the owner right here.
Yeah.
So we got the owner coming out right now. So he came at Jack with his car, and then Jack. Okay, and then at that point, Jack had, from what I understand, I believe he had a pepper ball gun, which is bright orange, right?
Bright orange, yeah.
And it doesn't look anything like a firearm. And we'll show you photos of that later because we've got body cam. We actually have all the evidence in this case already. So when I put this whole story for you guys together, everyone here has provided me receipts. Amanda's done a lot of work. You've done a lot of work. Jack has done a lot of work, and so. But he pointed a pepper ball.
Yeah, that was bright orange. It was obviously not a gun. And even the chief of police knew exactly what it was because he's got video showing her what it was before this even happened. And then he ended up getting charged with assault with a deadly weapon because he called the police and said that Jack pulled a gun on him.
So he said he pulled a gun on it. Wind noise is awesome. I know. So he said Jack pulled a gun on him, but it was clearly a pepper ball. It's bright orange.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was arrested and charged right away. Like they had time to think about it. He was actually left and had time to think about it and for all of the charges and stuff. And then after that, that's when they went to his house.
And so they went and raided his house over this, and they went in with what, 3 agencies?
Yes, there was Homeland Security, Rangers, Texas Rangers, and DPS. SWAT.
So it was two. It was a local, it was state, and it was federal.
Yes.
All raided his property over this. And there was one other charge though that they had a warrant for him for, right? And that was going to City Hall. And so Kirby City Hall has decided that you can't bring firearms into their City Hall meetings. I hope you guys can hear it because the wind's getting even worse. I'm trying to block it.
I use my signs.
That's okay, sure. Yeah, we'll go inside. There we go. Let's go. The wind's coming this way. You think she'll be okay with it? There we go. It's blocked right there. So Jack went into City Hall. Now, Kirby City Hall has an ordinance or a rule. Is it a rule? It's probably not even codified, is it?
It's an ordinance. They have the signs out there.
Okay, so you can't bring firearms into City Hall meetings, according to them. They've got metal detectors, and it's like airport security trying to get into Kirby City Hall meeting.
Feel that.
So you go through a metal detector, you get thoroughly molested, right? And
Yeah, if you want to put it that way.
do you guys tip them?
I tried to tip them. I mean, I try to be courteous.
Okay. And so, no, thank you.
Of course. I'm so sorry about what they're putting you through.
And then right now my daughter was in the hospital. I was there all night.
Oh, goodness.
So,
Is she unpregnant? Is she unpregnant? This is Nancy, the owner.
Hi, Nancy. I think I met you the other day, right? It's good to see you again.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll take a Pepsi.
I'll take whatever you got.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I met you at City Hall.
Yeah, we try not to use cherry Coke around here.
Oh,
Don't want to get beat up again. No. So, yeah, it's an ordinance.
All right, guys.
Jack was just basically.
Told you it was just a quick ride to go eat dinner.
they can have
I'm about to go
12
eat some
officers,
dinner.
15 officers. They can have.
I'm gonna try and go live. We do have like 4 new people tonight, so we might get some excitement. So we'll see.
Stop somebody.
Peace. Love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me.
a firearm or a weapon of any kind.